questions, so I'll be over to action in just a second, but this lady's been waiting.
Okay, can you hear him? Can you hear him?
Everyone will have to say, but this lady's been waiting a long time for questions. So I'm just going to give this lady, and I'll be over in a second, as soon as I've got other people. Everybody will have the chance to ask a question and have their say. Thank you.
Thanks, Sue.
Hi everybody, Linda Coakley, 27, and I wanted to just ask my question before I forget, because I've got C.R.A. dementia setting in early, I think.
Join the club.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it for a few years, but there you go. I was interested in listening to the proposals for the legal action and so on, and everything else, but what worries me is all the actions today, whatever you do with the council or whatever, there doesn't seem to be any way of actually enforcing their own decisions. And what worries me is that I think we need to stop dealing with people locally, and while we're talking about actions, the criminal action sounds very good as a background, as evidence to take a case. One of the things I mentioned about 2 years ago when my brother got loads of embargoes on his property was, why don't we take an action to the EU as an individual on a direct effect action, which, as explained to the guy in the C.R.A. office at the time, is any member of state or emanation of state which is in council or anybody connected to local government or national government, whatever, is accountable to the individual for any actions, wrongdoing, compensation, whatever. I've not heard that mentioned as a proposal in all these actions, and that would involve setting up one precedent, one case to win. And the thing is, if we get these people, the criminal prosecution sounds good, that would be your evidence of wrongdoing. That report we just discussed just now in 2010, again evidence that things weren't done properly. But where, even if you get these people prosecuted and go to prison, it's a Pyrrhic victory, where are you going to get any compensation from? I think we need to be looking at the EU going to the Spanish government and putting the pressure down to the regional government, down, kicking it down the line, because we're getting nowhere keeping it regional and local. I would like to see the lawyers looking at the actual laws that were in place for planning at the time, the evidence that they weren't adhered to, they didn't enforce their own building regulations, they didn't enforce their own laws, and I, as an individual, want compensation from the Spanish government. The Spanish government had a hell of a lot of money in EU grants. All this land grab in Valencia, at the time I said, why don't we take it to the EU as the individual? The EU came back and said, you can repay these grants you've all had for your infrastructure, your motorways, your airports, unless you compensate these people. I think that approach should be considered. I've been talking about this as one way of doing it, actually getting somewhere and causing enough trouble at senior, national government level, that it's kicked down and making these other people accountable and making them do something. There's no money in the kitty for all the things we want at a local level. I think we should be looking at the Spanish government and approaching it in that direction. Thank you.
If I could just answer that. Murcia Transparente have already got 2 regional MPs supporting the case. They have Luis Fernandez, who is a Ciudadanos, and also Miguel Sanchez, who is also Ciudadanos. They also enlisted the help of a senator from the Spanish Senate, a guy called Francisco Ongate, who is also taking it on. That's the equivalent to the House of Lords. There are also 2 European MPs who have taken the case on, Lola Sanchez and the other guy, I can't remember his name, but there are 2 already on the case. And they are... They're putting the question forward to the European Parliament. A question was asked in 2013 about Camposol, a written question to the European Parliament, and the answer that the Commission gave was that as far as the sales of the property were concerned, if it was through a UK estate agent, the people could take action against with the OFT's help, against the estate agents, but also they wrote to the Spanish authorities. Now, whose bin that ended up in, I don't know. But there is progress being made. You're absolutely spot on with what you're saying. But action is being taken at regional level, national level, and European level. And it's only in its infancy at the moment, but we're getting there.
What I'm asking, I appreciate that. What I'm asking is based on the case that I'm asking about what's called direct effect, which is the EU precedent set by Van Gentel. I've got an English law degree, and as part of that, a mandatory part of it is the EU law 1-2, right?
Maybe you could come and talk to us afterwards and give us the details, and we'll follow that up.
It's important to know because in law and legal skills, one of the things is applying the right legislation, the right function
Yeah.
the effect you want. And this is what I'm asking you. Have we got anything in proposals for a direct effect claim for one individual or 5 individuals in cases to get a precedent set? That's the answer I want.
The pack has gone to as I say, it's even gone to the UK, it's gone to David Cameron, Philip Hammond, it's gone to everybody. Everybody's in the pool, as it were. But yeah, we'll follow. If you let us know what you know, and we'll follow that up. But it is already being wheels are in motion.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name, but you put a question about a compensation payout, and you mentioned money or lack of it. The reply from our lawyer at MT says that, for example, one question that you haven't asked, and I'm sure is going to come up, but Massa are going in liquidation, where are we going to get the money from? Right, the lawyer says that if Massa is sentenced and found guilty and they plead bankruptcy, they simply go to jail for 4 to 6 years. And but that is not really going to be of any consolation to us. Personally, I don't care what happens to them, I want my money. So the lawyer says, I've got here just the writing in Spanish, so he broadly says that the representatives, the administration, the architects have a vast amount of money, and because they're all covered by insurance, and the insurance will actually be, the insurance will never be going bankrupt. There is money there, and so there is absolutely no way that if the culpable people go to prison, there's no way that we are going to be left high and dry. The judge will award compensation as well as a prison sentence, and compensation will be paid by the bodies that are involved in and around, that is the insurance and everybody else. Personally, I'm not, we don't want to try and tell our lawyer his job. We think he's very highly qualified, he knows what he's doing, he knows what the case is, and he is very confident that the money is there. Like you said, Spain had a lot of money from the European Union, the Spanish government has got money, there is money, and a little bit of it has got to come to us for what we've been suffering for the last 20 years.
Before we take the next question, Sue, I just wanted to add something to that. We've been doing research for near on 9 months, and we know every time we actually go to talk to somebody, we find out something new. We also have gone back in the files, and there are things in the files that sometimes we think to ourselves, well, why didn't they do something with that? So, I mean, it's not all cut and dried. We're still finding out things. We're still trying to move the thing forward. But the one thing we can't afford to do is waste any more time sitting doing nothing.
Good morning, my name is Rick. Oh, bloody hell, my name is Rick King. We bought on Sector A in 1999. Some of you may know me because I used to issue an email newsletter.
I've read that.
So I've had disputes with Linda and various other people over the years, but I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going back to square one. We've sat here over the last 16 years. We had the Boydner report, which I don't think anyone even has a copy of apart from me. That was the first one about whether Camposol was illegal. We then had the previous CRA committee asking to spend about €8,000 on the Garrigues report, which we now understand is a waste of time. I've got a copy of that if anyone wants it.
It's also on the website, if anybody wants a copy of it.
You're now talking about spending more money taking action. I'm terribly sorry, I don't think it's going to work. The only answer is to try and negotiate with this council, whether you like them or you dislike them. We've seen changes of council over the years. The only thing I will say on Sector A, after that defence or work was done, Blyer, just before he went out of power, said, OK, we will adopt. And since then, Sector A has had the roads repaired, apart from one little bit of lighting at the present moment. The lighting does all work on Sector A. It has been done. Let's work towards that, and then adopting the rest of the sectors. That's the only way you're going to work, because the other thing, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sad to say, if you go down the legal route, every single one of you, I think, here signed a contract when you bought from Massa, and on that contract there is one phrase that says, it will be run by an entity. You will end up with the council saying, we don't want to know, run it under an entity, and you will pick up the costs, every single which one of you. So that's a word of warning. Think very carefully before you go down the legal route. Okay.
Nothing much I can say to that, Rick?
Mr Chairman, thank you for letting me speak. My name's Tom Finnegan, I'm from ASEP.
Oh, good morning, Tom.
We haven't met before, although we've corresponded many times. Congratulations on your meeting. It's wonderful to see this turnout from Camposol. There are some divisions that I have with you, however. We don't need to wait to become a municipality. All 6, 7, 8 of your candidates sitting at that committee table could be, this week, had we planned it, inside the City Council, taking the decisions that will materially alter Camposol. You have the power in your hands. We have 2,876 registered voters. If you wish to, at the last election, you could have put 6, 7 councils into that chamber, and you wouldn't have had to have this meeting, because we would be making the changes right now. Mr Gelling, you and I, all of these people, have common cause. We love this Camposol, and we believe it can be one of the best places to live anywhere on the Spanish coast. And it can. And I represent the political wing of the Camposol, and you as the CRA, we need to work together and make sure that the next time the election comes along in 2019, we do put 8 councillors into the council chamber, because we can, and we'll all have control of the council then. And we need a good Spaniard to be our mayor candidate. We can do it if only we all work together and stop the divisions.
So, Tom, why did I know you were going to stand up and give a speech? Just to clear something up, the CRA is actually, according to its members, is a non-political organisation. That gives us the freedom to talk to any political party. We're happy to talk to CEDA, we're happy to talk to Podemos, we're happy to talk to Quadanos, we're happy to talk to AS, we're happy to talk to the PP, but at the end of the day, we cannot be seen to fly the flag for any particular party. And that's the situation. Well, thank you anyway, Tom, for your invitation. Right.
Morning, my name is Rennie Mullen and I live on Sector A. So I've lived here for 12 years and watched all the political stuff going backwards and forwards. And I'm not really here to take anybody's part or any sides. I'm supporting you, I'm supporting anybody who comes up with any positive solutions to the problems that we've got on Camposol. The one thing I would like to say is that sooner or later we are going to need a good fighting fund. So I really want to say, please don't block that part out and don't bluff away with the political stuff and keep that going backwards and forwards, which stops us from realising that that's a major part of what we've got to do, is to raise money. Thank you.
Thank you, Rennie. This meeting, by the way, is not all about raising money. So please, it's about finding out what the residents of Camposol want. I mean, as an organisation, the CRA can put forward proposals till kingdom comes, but it's you, the people of Camposol, that matter. You are the ones that need to decide how you want to do this. And as you can hear, there are, 2, 3, maybe 4 diverse opinions. So, I mean, we'll just carry on, we'll listen to you, and then get back to you at a later date. I think there's another question.
Well, no, not another question. Firstly, my name's Derek Dickinson. I live on sector C14 on Upper C. Possibly one of the worst affected areas on Camposol in terms of roads and sewage, etc. I would like to commend that gentleman in the black shirt. I didn't catch your name, sir, I'm sorry.
Rick King.
But I believe that that is the way forward. We must not cut ourselves off from the elected representatives of the council, because my experience, so limited though it is, when you put legal proceedings in place, what do the people do? Pull up the drawbridge. Cheerio, we've got the legal proceedings in place. We don't need to do anything because we can't, because the legal proceedings are there. So it's going to be another 4, 10, 15 years down the line before they need to do anything. We must, in my opinion, keep talking to the local council. With respect to the legal action you are proposing, I can speak from personal experience here, because I am part currently of an action group that are taking the decimal insurance company of Massa to court. Currently, it has cost the group in excess of €150,000. We have only just received a preliminary, and I emphasise the word preliminary, court hearing for January. And it has taken us 7 years to get there. This is the reality of taking legal action. The people that you are taking the action against will put up every barrier they possibly can. To give you an illustration, somebody went to Argentina who we were trying to pursue. They subsequently died, and we have had to get all new documentation from Argentina. Now that's probably an extreme case, but just be aware of the length of time this is going to take and the amount of money that is going to be required. That is all I wish to say. I believe there are pros and cons for what Linda has said, what Phil has said, and what the committee are proposing. But you have to be aware of what those consequences are for the future of Camposol. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. You respond?
Thanks very much. I would just like to clarify one thing on behalf of the committee. We have not at any time refused to speak to Mazarin Council. We are keen, happy and willing at the moment to speak to Alicia. So if Alicia says, oh, we want to have a chat, we're very happy to do so. When we had to cancel one meeting with Alicia simply because the members that wanted to go to the meeting were not available at the time. And when I spoke to her secretary, Maddalena, I said, Maddalena, I'm going to have to postpone the meeting we're having with Alicia. Never at any time we refused to speak to the council, and until such time as we enter into legal proceedings, I believe, and I will clarify this with our lawyer, but until such time as we actually enter in legal proceedings against the authorities and the Confederazione Idrografica, etc., I don't think we have a problem in speaking to Galicia. So I hope that has been cleared once and for all.
Just on that point, that wasn't what your website said. Your website
Well,
said
right, I don't...
to the council.
Right, okay, well perhaps someone else who deals with the website would better put it right, because I'm talking about personal contact, personal conversation on the website. Second, you brought something else up. Oh yes, about the cost that your action group has actually sustained so far to bring an action that really, that actually just proves my point. Why do we keep on paying out enormous quantities, enormous amounts of money and achieving nothing or very, very little, or a wait and a hope and a prayer? So the cost that you have been sustained and you may have to carry on paying are nothing like what the charity organization that is helping us are going to quote us. The quotes that I've given you, for example, the first legal action that I desperately want to start taking is criminal charges for multiple crimes of fraud and falseness against the developer, the CHS, Murcia Authority, Mazaron Council. And as I said, the criminal charges are not like civil charges, are not what you have been doing. Criminal charges, and I'm sort of a bit of an expert on that. Criminal charges mean if I find you guilty, you go to jail. If I say that you're going to have to pay compensation, it's because I, the judge, know that you are capable of paying compensation and you will pay compensation. That's the difference between the criminal charge that we want to impose now and the civil action that many of you have taken in the past. And also, as far as the fees are concerned, as I said, our lawyer is acting on a voluntary basis. He has done a lot for us already. He continues to work for us on a free of charge basis. But when the issue goes to court, obviously that's when we are going to have to start paying. And the 3,000 euros that he has asked for us to pay in order to bring the criminal charges to court is what in fact we will have to pay. But here I want to explain one thing. The criminal charges that he's going to bring is going to be twofold. He's going to bring a criminal charge from each one of us who submit the documentation that he has asked for, and he will examine that documentation and make sure that we have everything in order for him to bring the case to court, and he charges the pathetic amount of 60 euros to do that. You find another lawyer that will charge you 60 euros to do that. Now, he's going to bring each one of our case to court, and each one will be compensated individually. At the same time, he's acting on behalf of the CRA, and is bringing the case to court from the CRA's point of view for the whole of the infrastructure of Camposol. And the CRA will receive the compensation that the judge deems fit to give for that. So, that is, I hope this is clear. Personally, that's why each one of us who want to take part in the legal action will have to provide the documentation that I've mentioned, and I will have it there for any of you later on. So we need to bring those 5-6 bits of documents and 60 euros. I will collate it, I will take it to the lawyers. At the same time, I'm collating the documentation that the CRA has to provide as the association. And I think it's unfair that they should only pay 60 euros as well, but there you go. So, and the lawyer will actually fight the criminal charge for, as I said, for multiple crimes of fraud and falseness. So please don't confuse the two.
Any more questions from the floor?
Phil, we've got a question over here. This lady's been waiting.
Okay.
To your left. Thank you.
All right.
Leslie Darlington, Sector C. In fact, the lady's just answered two of the questions I was going to ask.
Oh, that's good.
But my point about Linda's suggestion,
Yeah.
it strikes me if we don't actually go and after them with criminal charges, we will have all passed through the tanatoria before Camposol is ever finished.
Yeah, now my colleague Paul here has also said you've also got to consider the statute of limitations, not the statute of limitations. Yeah. Okay. A couple more questions and then we'll close the meeting, but anybody wants to talk to us after the meeting, by all means do.
Good afternoon now. My name is Roy Ashcroft, I live at D32. Going back to your criminal case, I started a case against Massa in 2006, went to court in 2008, won the case. 2 years ago, my solicitor changed it from a civil case to a criminal case. 18 months ago, I went to Tana, sat in front of a judge, as my wife did, individually. The judge wouldn't see us go together. And 18 months later, we are still waiting for the judge to make a decision. So be careful how long you want to wait. That's all I'm going to say.
Can I just ask you a question? We've had a couple of meetings. The question I had, I think, at the last meeting I met with you was actually, have you been chasing up your solicitor?
Yes, I chased up the solicitor straight after our meeting and got a reply off him on Monday morning of this week, last week,
Yeah.
and which said they are still waiting for the judge to make a decision after 18 months.
That's outrageous, isn't it?
Well, this is Spain. I expected.
No, this is nothing to do with Spain. Again, you prove my point. Alone, we cannot fight. Alone, we are reaching nothing. We are
alone, there's three of us.
Yeah, let's make it 3,000 and then we can win. Again, another thing. In your case, you have a lot of documentation that actually specify what you have done, the money you've paid, and what you have already been awarded in compensation. If you can take all that, has to form the package of the documents that you are going to present to the solicitor, to the lawyer of MT, because he will actually look at that as well. All of the money that you have spent is going to be returned to you. You're going to be compensated. This is what he's actually saying. Please don't laugh. It's not a laughing matter.
I agree with you, I'm sorry. After 9 years, I've got to laugh.
Of course, and I can say I've only arrived in Camposol in July, at the end of July last year. Just about began to settle down in August, and in September I had the floods, and they destroyed most of what I had worked and built for. So I'm fighting hard. 3, 10, 20 of us are going to achieve nothing. We are going to waste time, waste money, and the council and everybody else are going to carry on ignoring us or putting us at the bottom of the list. That's why I'm saying I need your support. I have the knowledge, my skills, my experience, my contact with MT constantly, and their support, and their lawyer is working for us and is working hard. All he wants from us is unity. Please don't let him down this time.
There's a question there. One question, yeah. Right, hold it right in front of your mouth. Right in
Put
front
it right in front of your mouth.
Right, yeah. I've got it. I'm here. I've only got a few things to say. Where is the missing millions gone of Camposol? When I say that, I mean all the new cars we bought, all the televisions, all the white goods, fridges. Where has the money all gone? It's not 1 cent has been put to Camposol. It's just unbelievable. And I think the only thing we can do is fight. Just like the lady's been saying, I agree with her absolutely. We've got to go down here and give them stick all the time, any way we can, any single way, walking across the roads, holding up the traffic, doing anything that where we can show them that we're here, rather than sitting about doing nothing. Thank you.
Okay. Unfortunately, the Spanish have brought in a law of civil disobedience. Yeah, we'll take 2 more questions over there.
While Sue is waiting and passing on the microphone, I'd just like to make a very short comment about what you said. We don't need to have any more demonstrations anymore. We don't particularly need to do anything apart from giving empty our trust, our support, and allow them to fight for us, because they know how and they will do it.
Okay, thanks a lot.
The gentleman, what can we do about it?
Yeah.
It's a word of church in their pocket. Don't go down to the port and you money into town or on here. That's where you can see how it goes then.
Yeah.
If you have any businesses, inform them.
Actually, this is unbelievable, but when I was talking to Patricio, who's one of the councillors, before the fiesta, Patricio actually said that Camposolas don't go into the port. And I said, Patricio, where did you get that from? And he said, well, my friend lives on Camposol and he only ever shops in Consu and goes to the bars up here. I said, Patricio, I think the councillors need a wake-up call, because at the end of the day, I know lots of people that go off Camposol and they go to La Foya, they go to Valnuevo, they go to Bahia, and they go into Tatana, they go, anyway, you can run off a list. So the Spanish have got, so some Spanish, I can't say all, the Spanish have got a funny idea about us on Camposol. You know, so maybe it'll change over time.
Perhaps we should talk to them about it then.
Great, Dave, yeah. Well, that's what we did with the fiesta, we brought Spanish people into it.
So why don't you continue with it?
Well, so I told you we just, on advice, we've been actually told not to say anything about
It's the legal action.
Yeah, okay. That's another thing.
The gentleman from CDIP said we had something like 2,500 votes here.
Yeah.
And I bet there's more people here today than there was who could be bothered to go and vote. His solution is correct. Whether you like it or not, Mr. Chairman, the answer is political. We need you guys on the council. And the only way we're going to do it is if we vote for it. So, I really think you ought to... I mean, this is fine, all this legislation, but as someone said over there, half the people in Camposol will be dead in this cemetery that we haven't got before this is all resolved. So we've got 4 years to get you people onto the council, and I think that is the way forward. Thank you.
Thank you for your confidence, but as I said earlier on, I am not political and I don't intend to be a politician and I don't intend to actually work with, join any Spanish party. But I will, with all my heart, will fight for getting things put right on Camposol, which have been neglected for a number of years. Right. I think, is that Carl? Oh no. Sorry, this is the unofficial spokesman for Camposol, Sector A. Go on, Carl.
A little bit harsher. As you know, I'm a CRA supporter and always have been. But my question is twofold, Phil. Firstly, you sent out a survey activity at the end of last year, November, asking residents what they thought were priorities and what you considered you should act upon that to negotiate with the council.
Yeah.
From memory, I do have the figures here if I need to refer to them.
Well, I can answer that question straight up.
No, I haven't asked it yet.
I thought that was it.
I haven't asked it yet.
Go on then.
Approximately 151 people of Sector A, Sector B, Lower C and Upper C said that infrastructure was a major concern for them, and a further 150 said on Sector D that it was. So 250 said that major infrastructure was an issue for them. And I suspect quite a lot of those people are here today because they're the people who are going to be bothered to turn out and come and hear what you've got to say. We've already heard you say you've got problems. Silvana's very passionate about it because clearly she's got problems. But that's still only about 4% of people on Camposol. And so my first question is, who gave the CRA the mandate to create all this hoo-ha nationally and potentially lower the prices of every single house on Camposol? And the second question is, that again, there's only 250 or so people here today. Are you then going to consider this to be a mandate or further action for the 6,000 people that live here? Because for me, you've got to ask everybody before you can proceed. You can't just make a decision on the people based here today who are probably the ones with the problems.
All right, okay. It's easy. No one gave us a mandate to represent Camposol. That's one of the reasons why this is an open meeting. But the CRA was formed back in, what was it, 2002? Or 2005. And most people, I can't say most people because that would be distorting things. A lot of people use the CRA as a means or a vehicle to actually try and get things done. So by default then, the CRA has represented a lot of people on Camposol, right? Second part of your question was where we're going to take this meeting and take this as a mandate for us to continue. No, we're not. What we wanted to do was give people the opportunity to actually speak and tell us what they wanted to do, right? And as you can see, there's about 3 or 4 different opinions or different schools of thought. So how the hell is Camposol going to solve its problems while we've got that? Right? So all we're trying to do is try to find some common ground whereby we can at least move things on and actually get some things done. Having conversations with the council, not a problem if the council are going to have a worthwhile conversation and a truthful conversation. Having a conversation with the residents of Camposol, fine, as long as there's no mudslinging or personal attacks, no objections to that. Having meetings and having chats with CRA members, fine, because there's a diverse set of opinions there as well. So, the committee and I have got no argument with anything that's being said. All we want to know is what you, or how are you going to fix the problems on Camposol if we don't do it? So, that's the answer to your question. How is it going to happen? Oh, yes. Sorry.
So I just want to clarify something that Linda asked. Linda's had to leave now, but she did ask... Oh, sorry. Linda asked me to clarify something, and what she wanted to say was... Well, you heard most of what she said, but her last thing that she really wanted to get across was she actually thinks we should, before we do any action, we should actually just wait 2 or 3 months to see if the council do anything, and then go in all guns blazing, sue the... Well, I won't repeat what she said, but it was something along the lines of sue them into the ground. I'm sure those who know Linda will know what she said. I just wanted to clarify that, sorry.
Sorry, is there any comment on that? Oh, hang on, who hasn't spoken?
We've got a question over here first, Phil.
Over there.
The gentleman's been waiting.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Phil, top table. My name is Les Sherrod. D27, so you know we've got problems straight away just mentioning D27.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to think is, could we help other people who are currently considering buying out here? By that I mean the estate agents are leading them to believe that everything's okay. A neighbour of ours has just sold to a guy who I feel really sorry for. They took €4,000 off the seller. 5,200 euros off the buyer. The buyer was never told by the estate agents there was embargoes on issues. Couldn't we save people having the stress that we've all had to do? Couldn't we do something about that as well, Phil?
This is where we've been caught between a rock and a hard place. We're trying to raise the profile of Camposol in terms of what's wrong with it. We're also trying to raise the profile of Camposol in terms of what's right with it. And one does not complement the other. And the same thing happens in terms of if we don't do anything, the Camposol will just carry on going down the nick, for want of a Liverpool phrase. And if we do try to do something about it, what we're going to do is upset groups of people on Camposol because they're going to say, well, you're devaluing our property. One of the things people need to realise on Camposol is that whatever is done is going to affect everybody. So you may as well get in there and actually cause the effect, and then we can get it sorted. The quicker we get it sorted, the quicker your values will go back up, the quicker we'll stop having these arguments, and the quicker we'll stop having to point fingers at people saying, well, they're not doing anything for us, so why should they get compensation? You know, it's down to you. You've got to be grown up about this, and you've got to think about the long-term implications and how you can actually get to an end point that is going to satisfy everybody. At the moment, we're not satisfying anybody because everybody's fighting for their own cause or for their own agenda or for their own view of things. And that's all we're asking. And going back to Carl's point about a mandate, this is another reason for having meetings like this, is so as we can find out the common ground, so as we can then actually get people to, well, one of the suggestions is to have a referendum, but that in itself is a nightmare because of the logistics in terms of language and in terms of who lives on Camposol and who doesn't, and it's finding out all the addresses and who lives in those addresses. So it's a tough call. I think you've heard a lot. One of the things we want you to do is at some point come back to us and tell us how you feel, tell us how you think the meeting went, ask us any more questions. We will have to at some point address the issue unless you've got you've got somebody else that's going to do it for you. Because we can't just keep having these meetings and talking about it and then going away and taking no action. I just actually want to I've got some notes from the end of my speech which I think are very pertinent. We've suggested some ways to move forward. We've also supplied details of those options for you to review, either through our website or at the cabinet. We are committed to getting things done, but what we ask is a commitment from you, both in support and finance. We want you to remember this situation cannot continue for another 4 years, another 8 years, or another 12 years, because as one or two of you rightly said, you'll be in your grave. Right? There is a couple of buckets there for donations, but I want you to remember this. If the residents of Camposol have donated €15 each back in 2006, the Garagimus report could have gone through the court and we could have probably had a positive result by now. So we've wasted nearly 10 years.
Then why didn't you spend the fighting fund when the guerrillas report?
Because there was not enough in the fighting fund, because they were looking for 80,000.
But no one in the CRA asked for extra money at that point. Yes, they did.
Oh well, take that up. Take that up with the previous CRA. I wasn't there.
CRA did, and constantly asked for money.
Listen to what you're saying. The CRA is a body of people. The CRA is a membership of people, but that membership changes, and so does the body, so does the committee. So at the end of the day, if the committee 12 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 8 years ago, didn't make a decision, then it's down to them. It's not down to us. We're new. We are trying to do something different. It's the same with political parties. You vote a party in, right? and you vote for that party, or you don't vote for that party, you can't go blaming the party 12 years earlier if you haven't got what you want. But again, the only person in that PP party at this moment in time is Alicia Jimenez, who was in power in those two previous parliaments. All right. Anyway, I'd like to just thank you for your time. And I'm sorry I'm trying to close because people want to go. Oh, I've got that.
Person said that the number that's here doesn't represent...
Oh, like you now.
Person said the people that are here, out of 5,000 on Camposol, there's only 500 or whatever. I got the message, so where's the other 5,000 that got the message? If they're interested in Camposol, why ain't they here to represent Camposol? I mean, I've sat in committees and everything. When we put out it always happens. You've got 10,000 people, but only 2,000 turn up. So you're never going to get all Camposol to turn up here. It's impossible.
We know that.
And I think this committee, what they said today, I think a show of hands give these permission to do what they're doing because they're talking sense.
Well, what you're saying is sensible, but at the end of the day, if we walked out of this meeting and said we've got to go and do what we want to do on the basis of 500 people, without actually talking to the people that are living in the UK, or the people that are living in the USA, or people that are living in Norway, or people that are living in Belgium, because they've got holiday homes here, we've got to go and canvass them as well. But I thank you for the sentiment.
Let's do it.
Somebody wants me to ask for a show of hands, but half of the chairs are now empty, so I'm sorry. Just the best way to do it is just basically send us a note. You know what all their website is. Send us a note saying what you support, and then we'll pick it up from there. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much. And if anybody's not a member and wants to be, there's some membership forms over there. And if anybody wants to donate, much against their principles, there's buckets as well. Thank you.
There's a bucket next to the door on the way out.